up with is the Home Affordable Modification Program. And that program, which in itself is another bailout because the banks get paid billions of dollars to participate, or really not to participate because that's what they're doing. What it does, in many ways, it's a bailout. Because what it does is it allows a homeowner, it supposedly allows the homeowner to get their loan modified to 31% of gross income, including taxes and insurance. And for some people that can be helpful. But of course, it's modified based on the value, the current value of the mortgage, not the current value, of what the principal is with all the arrearages added to it. So essentially, it allows you to modify your payment based on an overvalued loan that you're never going to pay off anyway. That's the best. And even as rotten and as that program is, they've only modified 250,000 of the 250,000 modifications of the 3 to 4 million that are supposed to be eligible. Telling you, and why? Because the banks don't really care. They're not set up to keep people in their homes. They're set up to throw you out and get the money from the government to do it in the meantime. So I don't want to go on and on. We feel this is an ongoing crisis. We have some experience litigating. We've actually used the home affordable, as bad as it is, we've used it as a defense to foreclosure in court, saying if they don't do it, that's a defense to foreclosure. We've taken creative approaches legally where we can, but we all understand that it's not the legal struggle. This is a political struggle. It's a political struggle against the banks and corporations. It's a struggle that will be won as we mobilize more and more people to organize in their communities, to defend their homes. The banks are vulnerable on this issue. Almost every time when we picketed the banks, we've won. We had one case where a woman had a double transplant, a heart and liver transplant, with a nurse. She got infected, serving people. She went to Bank of America and said, listen, I'm going to be getting disability. Can you just give me a forbearance for a few months? They never would write her back. They were getting ready to have a sheriff's sale. We said, hell in court. We picketed Bank of America in alliance with it was actually interesting, it was at the same time when there were demonstrations over the takeover of Republic Works in Chicago. So Labor united with us, and we had her in her home within 3 days. As Avi said, Ruby Crow-Pinkins, she was a senior citizen, finally came up with enough money to redeem her home. We have a redemption. Offered the money to Countrywide. They said, hell with you, we're throwing you out of your home. You've only been there for 42 years. You have a disabled daughter, but we don't care. We went ahead. We lost in court. We picketed Bank. We had a big rally at her home. We mobilized the community. We picketed Bank of America. They had it all on TV. We're not going to do anything. Within 2 days, she had her home. And in Belva's case, we didn't just picket Wells Fargo. We didn't just have a rally. We started a national email campaign to the CEO of Aquin, where he was flooded with emails, where he started answering the emails and started justifying himself. And once they did that was a lost cause by him, and we were able to win a modification, a modest modification of her loan, but a modification that allowed her to stay in her home at least for a period of time. And we're proud of that, and we're proud of her for fighting it out till the end. So I want to just end there. This is an ongoing fight. It's a winnable fight because the crisis isn't abating. What we've been looking to do, we've picketed the last 3 state of the state addresses in Michigan. We picketed the governor all the time. We were hoping one of these times we'd get about 5,000 people with us, where we would go in and we would sit down next to those legislatures and we ain't leaving until the moratorium's in effect. We haven't gotten to that point yet, but that's what we need to get. And maybe one of these states where we're fighting, we're going to find out where the people are really ready to move. Maybe it'll be Michigan, maybe it'll be Ohio, maybe it'll be Kentucky, maybe it'll be Miami where it's devastated. And when it does, we all need to be down there, because that's what we need. We need to beat them. Beat them on the individual cases, but beat them politically and get a moratorium asserted. Even this Gulf thing, I want to end here. I was watching TV the other day, and they were talking about all the people that are worried about losing their homes because of the Gulf Coast disaster. Well, you know what? When there's a state of emergency, there's supposed to be an automatic moratorium on foreclosure. Why wasn't that announced? I wish I was down in the Gulf Relief with all these homeowners worried about their homes, saying, how would we need to go out to the government and say, do your duty and put a moratorium on foreclosure until BP comes up with that damn money so we can save our homes. That's what a moratorium is about. That's what we're fighting for. That's our perspective. And we're so happy to have everybody here to join us, and I'll turn it over to you.
we're gonna open up the floor. We only have about 45 minutes left. I'm not sure if another workshop is coming in here. Maybe we can stay a few minutes longer. But our next speaker is Keith Sadler from the Ohio Foreclosure Defense Group, and he has recently fought personally against foreclosure as well.
All right, thanks a lot. Again, my name is Keith Sadler, and I'm with the Toledo Foreclosure Defense League, and also a member of the Stony Ridge 7, who fought to defend my home. And a bunch of you guys got this paper handed out. This is me being dragged out by the SWAT team out of my home. And we chose to stand and fight. I was going to lose my home anyway, so we decided to make a stand of this eviction. And so I want to specifically cover that. If you want to read the article or talk to me later, we can get into other details about how I got in that situation. But I think most people here realize that people are being attacked unjustifiably and getting thrown out of their homes. So on May 2nd this year, 6 comrades of mine locked ourselves in my home. And to defy the eviction order that was scheduled for midnight that night. And but May 2nd was just the start of the actual action. We, for months before, were preparing for this. We actually, when we thought it was going to actually occur in winter, we actually had made plans and actually started building a snow and ice fort around the home that we were going to keep the pigs out of my home. And we wanted, our goal was to make this eviction very, very difficult for the police. As was kind of mentioned, most people leave their homes well before. The threat of eviction is enough to get them out of their houses. We were trying to get people to leave their homes, and people just wouldn't stand and fight. And so we thought when it was come time for my house that we had to put our money where our mouth was and to stand and fight. So we totally barricaded the entire house, every window, door. Well, there was 2 windows that we didn't barricade. We had a little bit of a reason. There was a little bit of a surprise that they decided to go ahead and try to get in that way. And if you want to ask me about that later, I'll talk to you about it. But we actually cement blocked 2 of the doorways. We angle braced the plywood barricades that we had across the doors. And then we thought too that once they got in, we also wanted to make it very difficult then once they got to us to get us out of the house. And we actually used lock boxes, and 5 of us who were inside the house were locked down to these lock box devices. And we're planning on doing a zine and getting the information out, specifics of how we did what we did. We don't have enough time here to talk about that, but we want to get that information out.